Welcome. In this video, we are going to explore chords and improvisation. From scales to freedom. I will share a little bit about my own journey as a performer and researcher, and why I really wish I had learned this concept much early. Understanding how chords come directly from scales and completely change the way you play. It makes improvisation easier, can improve your audition, and gives you freedom across any style, whether it's jazz, pop, Brazilian music, funk, anything else. So let's start from the very beginning with one simple scale and build step by step towards real improvisation. Are you ready? When I was young, at the very beginning of my studies and the saxophone practice, if I had had access to the information I'm about to share with you, my journey would have been much easier and a lot more enjoyable. I would have found so much pleasure in practicing scales and especially in learning improvisation. The truth is, I only learned improvisation very late and mostly by teaching myself and did with many other things. That's why today I want to give you some first tips to help you start improvising right away, no matter your level. Even if you only started last week, this week, or just a few weeks ago, this video is for everyone who wants to begin improvising, even professional who have never improvised before. When I was doing my bachelor degree in music education, I noticed that many saxophone players didn't really learn improvisation, but not because they didn't want to, but because they didn't have access to the right knowledge. Traditional schools often focus on robotic exercise and playing songs exactly as they are written, but they don't always teach freedom or creativity. For me, improvisation came through my own life experience and decades of personal research. I studied many different methods from around the world and eventually began to build my own approach to help students develop improvisation skills. And those skills completely changed my career. Because of improvisation, I was able to travel the world for many years, signing contracts with major agents, performing internationally, and today actually have more requests than performance I can accept. Uh, because of my adaptation improvisation. And that's what I want to share with you. Whether you are a beginner or already advanced, if you want to be more creative on the saxophone, this video will help. Music should be fun. It should express your soul, whether it's just a hobby or profession. Once you start improvising, I don't think you will ever want to stop because it's such a joyful and rewarding experience. So maybe you have never even thought about playing the saxophone, but this video might inspire you to start because the world really needs a new generation of saxophone players who can improvise. Improvisation doesn't just make music more fun with friends, family, or jam session in your city. It can also open professional opportunity. So now, let me share with you the lesson I wish I had received when I was starting out. Honestly, this is the most important gift I could have had at the beginning of my study. And now I want to pass it on to you. Are you ready? So let's start. So if you are a completely beginner, we have to start with a scale. Let me explain you what is a scale. A scale, I usually say that is a kind of selection of notes. For example, a football team. Football team, we have 11 football players, goalkeeper, defensor. We have each football player has one position. Okay, maybe 3 defenders, maybe 5 midfield. So scale is almost the same. Usually, the traditional scales, called Greek modes, has 7 notes. 7 notes. Each note has one function, okay? So when I tell you C major, usually is Ionian mode. Ionian mode is the traditional major scale. So we have 7 notes. For example, C major, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And then again, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So 7 notes, it's called 1 octave. Octave because we have C to C. And their high frequency is the same note but in the other octave, so higher, so we have the lower frequency and higher of the same scale. So but always these notes, the first note will be always C, second always D. It's in this scale, it's called degree. The first degree is C, second degree D, third degree E. It's in a major scale, Ionian scale. In Greek mode, it's the name of this scale is Ionian because when we are playing these scales, it have one profile, one style. It's like football player. When we select a specific number of defense or midfield, the team has one characteristic, should be more defensive or more offensive. So music scale is the same, but playing with emotion. Some scale can be more happy, melodramatic. It's very useful. It's a Greek mode. Greek mode, you can find more about it. I can record soon more video talking about it. But now I want to explore just the Ionian mode in C to explain how to start improvising through chords. And let's understand how we can play the chords of one specific scales. In that case, C major or C Ionian. Okay. So to warm up, let's play just a scale note, 1 note per bar, 1 note for tempo. Okay. I'm going to play here on the tenor saxophone. Maybe if you want to play along myself on alto saxophone, should be another key because saxophone sounds different. It's the same note, but sounds different. We have to transpose. It's a concept for another video. But by the way, if you want to play with me with tenor, that's okay. But alto, you can practice by yourself. Okay, not playing along with me. Just understand. Just listen. Let's start with playing 1 note per bar. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Let me write here in the G clef. G clef, okay. Ooh. So we have, let me show you what I'm doing here. Okay, D, don't worry because I can show you better after. Okay, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, O, C. 2, 2, 2, 2. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B. C again. B, A, G, F. Okay, let me show you. Can you see here? D, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then going high and then going down. Up, down, up, down. So let's practice it with play along. So this is the Ionian mode, C. Key, the key is C. Ionian mode or classic major. Okay, but now let's call Ionian. Now, I want to explain you how the chords are made. Okay, if you look here to the scale, we have after the D, after the C, we have D. After the D, we have E, and then F, G. The distance between each note is a second. So the interval is second. Okay? The distance between C and D is a second. It's a second major, but I will not talk about the specific distance, because distance should be second major or second minor. But I'm not going to talk about it on this exercise. I just want to explain you the gross for you start improvising as soon as possible, okay? So to build a scale, to build a chord, we have to use the interval of the third. For example, the interval between C and D is second. So the third of C will be E, okay? C will be E. Let me write down it. C, E. Okay? Because it's a third. It's a third. Can you check here? It's a third. C, E. The G, we cannot play now because we are building the chord of the first. Remember, each note has one position, like in football. So the first degree should be, for example, goalkeeper. Let's use it as an example. So we have a characteristic of the first degree. The first degree will be always the first degree, it's C, and then the third is Z, and then the fifth. The fifth is G. C, remember, let's talk with me just the second. C, D, E, F, G. So let's use just the first, third, and fifth. Okay? So we have now C, E, and G. So that's the chord. That's the chord, the harmony that represents the first degree of the major, C major, or Ionian, C Ionian. So we have C, E, G. Okay? C, E, G. That's the first degree. Okay? And then let's practice just playing C, E, G. We are free to play C, E, or G. We can play, have fun playing these three notes, only these three notes, because the chord we are going to practice now just the chord of C. So we are free to play with these three notes. Let's play with it. Just one chord, C major chord, just so you understand. Let's go. Let's practice. C. So it was only C major chord. So I just used the note C, E and G, but having fun with it. But one tip is, as it is C, the key is C, it means the key, the most important note is C. So it's always interesting finish with the C, because we have to always remember that that's this C key. So finishing with C, especially long notes, just to enforce the characteristic of the key. Okay, the key, I mean the first degree, or the fundamental of the triad. So when we are going to play three notes in a chord, it's called triad. Every triad we have to build using the third. Okay, every triad we have to build using the third. For example, let's now build the characteristic of the G in the C scales. So let's go here back to the music notepad. I'm going to write here now to you understand again how to build the triad of G. Okay, so let's write down here just for a visual, just to understand better with that too. G, remember G? G is here. G is here. G. G. So G. After G, we have B and D. B and D. Okay? Let's count the second, just the second G from the G. Okay? G, G, A, B, C, D. Remember the C. Let's go to the C again. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Remember, so let's count from the G. G, A, B, C, D, F. So as this is always the C major scale, it's always the same note because it's G, but it's still in the C major scale. We are building the chord of the G. G is the fifth degree, is the fifth degree of the C union or C major. Okay, C major is the first degree. G is the 50. Remember, 50. So we are now building the chord of the fifth degree of the C major scale or C union. Let's write down here G, B, D. That's the chord of G. Can you see here that this is the first degree, okay? First degree, second degree, third degree, fourth degree, fifth degree, sixth degree, and seventh degree. And then go back to the first and the sixth, okay? No, seven, okay? So, okay. So we are building now the chord of the G. G is G, B, D, okay? So that's the 50 degree and that's the first degree. So we practiced before the chord of the first degree, and now we are going to play the chord of the fifth degree. It is G, C, and D. So now you understand we have a chord for each degree. We can practice the notes of the first degree again, and also the notes of the fifth degree. It means C, chord of C. It means the three notes of the chord of C and the three notes of the chord of G. C is C, E, G, and G. G is G, B, D. We have two bars for the chord of C and then two bars for the chords of G. Okay? Two bars for chord of C and two bars for chord of G. And repeating in loop. Okay? So we can play the chord of the first degree and the chord of the fifth degree. Chord of the first degree, chord of the fifth degree. Let's play with it. Yeah, let's play. First bar. Chord of C, chord of C, chord of G, chord of G, chord of C, chord of C, chord of G. Let's play now. Let's improvise. Yeah, and the last note was C again because the key is C. So we played the chord, the notes of the chord of G and the notes of the chord of we played the notes of the chord of C and the notes of the chord of G. It means the first degree of the C major scale and the fifth degree of the C major scale, which is G. Okay, so now you are starting to understand what means the chord and the characteristic of each one. So let's now learn a new chord. Let's add more chords on this game. Let's add the chord of two new degree. Let's play with the chord of the first degree, C, and the fifth degree again, G, and now let's add new extra chords. Okay, let's now add two extra chords. You are doing very well. If you are understanding, don't forget to write down if it's clear, if it's not clear, if it's being very helpful for you, if you want to practice, or if you want to start learning saxophone because of this video, or if you are already learning. Don't forget to interact here, to write down your thought, your experience with it. Okay? I am open to listen everyone. So let's add now two new chords. So we practice C and G. Chord of C, first degree, and the chord of G, fifth degree. Let's now add this chord of the second degree and the sixth degree. Which is the second degree of the C major or C union? Is D, because the first is C, D is the second. So D, you know already how to build the chord. We have to use third. So G, we are building the G. And then the third of D is D, E, F. F is the third of D. So D, F. And then the third of F is F, G, A. So we have D, F, A. That's the chord of the second degree of the C major scale, G, D, the chord of G. That's the second degree. The second degree is of the C major is G, so D, F, A. Okay, so that's one of the new chords. Now let's add the sixth degree. Sixth degree of the C major scale is, let's count again, C, D, E, F, G, A. So the A is the sixth degree. So let's build the chord, the triad of A. A, B, C. C is the third of A. Okay, now the third of D. D, now the third of C. C, D, C, D, E. C, D, E. So we have, so the chord of A is A, C, E. A, C, E. That's the chord of A. A of the C major scale, the sixth degree. Okay? So we are going to play. If it's a lot of information for you, don't worry. I'm just want to share how we can build it. You can, if you are a beginner, stay on my first example, just playing the chord of C, this chord of the first degree. Save this video, watch as many you can to get the information. But I know it's a lot of information for a beginner, especially if you never heard about it. So stay practicing just the chord of the first degree, the C, E, G. Stay practicing it. And then, if you are happy, if you are confident, move to the other exercise, playing just the chords of the first degree and the fifth degree, C and G. And now, if you are kind of advanced, don't worry. You can't do it fast. You know, it's time. It's time. You have to enjoy the process. If you want to do it fast, it should be hard for you. You can also leave the study. It's not helpful. You have to be persistent, okay? And understand and respect your time. So if you are doing well, the first step, doing just with one chord, the second step, doing with two, you can come here and play with four chords. Okay, so we can practice the chords of the sixth degree, which is A, then the chord of the second degree, which is D, the chord of D, and then the fifth degree, the chords of G, and then finishing with the chord of the first degree, which is C. Okay, let's do it. So we have one bar for each chord. One bar for each chord. First chord will be the chord of the sixth, which is A. And second bar, D, chord of the G. And then the third bar, chord of G, and the last bar, chord of G. Let's practice it. So now I think you can understand what means scale, selection of notes. So we practice the scales. The first exercise was the scale of C. So if you are a beginner, you have to practice the notes. You have to learn how to play the notes of the C major or C union. You have to play all the notes. And after being able to play all the notes, play the chords of the C, of the first degree. Playing during this exercise. If you don't have the backing track, etc., don't worry. I'm going to open my school, my international school online soon, and you can have access of all the backing tracks, all the exercise. It will be very interesting. This school, international school, so I can give it to all the students from everywhere in the planet. I can give the backing tracks, but this is the idea. You have to play all the notes of the C and then play just the chords of the first degree, C, E, G. And then the third step is play the chords of the chords of the first degree C and the chords of the fifth degree G. And practice a lot, being creative, enjoying it. We have 3 notes for each chord, 3 notes for each chord. We can play with all the notes of this, just 3, but we can have fun. You saw in the video, you can have fun with just 3 notes. So a song usually have a lot of chords. For example, the last exercise, the fourth exercise, I use 4 chords. Okay, start with the 6th degree, chords of the A, and then chords of the B, and then chords of the G, and chords of the C. So we have much more notes. But now you understand the principle of the improvisation through the chords, because the music have chords, and the chord is part of one scale. So you can now understand that the chords are part of one scale, and each chord represents some degree. Okay, and another video, I can go deeper and explore more the characteristic or quality of each tension. Why one is called one, why one have more tension, and why other is more definitive, like we can feel comfortable, and other we are out. Why this magic in the music? Why one chord is more relaxed and another chord is more tensioned, and another chord is more like a like a film, like stories. Start with everything okay, and then something strange happen, and everybody, wow, what's happened? Well, what's happening? Where it came from? So people in alert, and then the villain, the charge of the villain through the tension, and then go back again to the happy, everything stable. Music is the same, but we use the sound. We use the sound to build it. So I hope you have learned something new. If this video was very helpful for you, don't forget to write down what do you think about it. If it was helpful for you, if you want to practice, okay, I'm open here to listen everyone. Bye. Thanks very much. See you in another opportunity.